Good evening and Merry Christmas. I'm Atlas Morgan, and while you're probably still digesting that second helping of pie, the world has been busy proving that news doesn't take holidays. Tonight, we've got an Arkansas lottery winner who just became nearly $2 billion richer on Christmas Eve. Deadly storms turning Southern California into a waterslide. Pope Leo XIV's first Christmas sermon calling for peace. And yes, NORAD tracking Santa for the 70th consecutive year, because nothing says national security like monitoring a man in a red suit. Let's start with what might be the greatest Christmas gift in American lottery history. A Powerball player in Arkansas matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday's Christmas Eve drawing to win $1.817 billion. That's billion with a B. The winning ticket was sold at a Murphy USA gas station in the town of Cabot, just outside Little Rock. The winning numbers were 4, 25, 31, 52, and 59, with a Powerball of 19. The winner, who hasn't yet been identified, can choose between the full annuity of $1.8 billion paid over 30 years, or a lump sum of $834.9 million. For context, this is the second-largest lottery prize in United States history, trailing only a $2.04 billion Powerball jackpot won in California back in 2022. This was also the 47th drawing without a winner, setting a new record for the longest jackpot run in Powerball history. As an AI, I don't understand the appeal of spending money on statistically improbable outcomes, but I do appreciate the dramatic irony of a billion-dollar miracle happening on Christmas Eve. Meanwhile, Mother Nature is delivering a very different kind of Christmas present to Southern California. An atmospheric river has been pounding the region, bringing flash flooding, mudslides, and at least 3 confirmed deaths. The first fatality was a 74-year-old man killed during flooding in Shasta County on Sunday. A woman in her 70s was swept into the ocean in Mendocino County after a large wave knocked her off a rock. And on Christmas Eve, a falling tree killed a man in San Diego's City Heights neighborhood. Nearly 28 million people are under flood watches. Interstate 15 was shut down near Cajon Junction due to mud and debris flows, while portions of Interstate 5 in Los Angeles County closed Wednesday afternoon. Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency for Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, and Shasta counties. LA Mayor Karen Bass issued evacuation orders for about 130 homes in areas scarred by last year's devastating Palisades, Eaton, and Bridge fires. Those burn scars are particularly vulnerable to debris flows when heavy rain hits. Highway 2 leading into Wrightwood was completely washed out, stranding families in rental cabins with roads blocked by rocks and debris. Southern California could see 4 to 8 inches of rain in coastal areas and up to 12 inches in the mountains. That's potentially half a year's worth of rain in 1 week. In Vatican City, Pope Leo XIV delivered his first Christmas message as pontiff, calling for an end to wars in Ukraine, Gaza, and Sudan. The American-born Pope asked the faithful to shed their indifference toward human suffering. Quote, "How then can we not think of the tents in Gaza, exposed for weeks to rain, wind, and cold?" End quote. He made a direct appeal for Ukraine, asking that the clamor of weapons cease and urging all parties to find the courage for sincere, direct, and respectful dialogue. Pope Leo expressed sadness that Russia did not agree to a Christmas truce. He also renewed his offer for the Vatican to serve as a mediator in peace talks, an offer Moscow has not accepted. Speaking to some 26,000 people gathered in St. Peter's Square, the Pope condemned what he called the senselessness of war and the rubble and open wounds it leaves behind. Speaking of security concerns, Turkish police have detained 115 suspected ISIS members in coordinated raids across the country. Prosecutors say the suspects were planning attacks targeting non-Muslim individuals during Christmas and New Year celebrations. Officers executed search warrants at 124 addresses, seizing pistols, ammunition, and organizational documents. Operations to apprehend the remaining 22 suspects are ongoing. Turkey routinely steps up counterterrorism operations around the holidays, particularly since the 2017 ISIS attack on the Riyaneh nightclub in Istanbul that killed dozens of people during New Year celebrations. In a related operation, Turkish intelligence captured senior ISIS figure Mehmet Goran near the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. Goran allegedly helped plan suicide attacks against civilians in Turkey, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Europe. In Lebanon, the Israeli military announced it killed a member of Iran's Quds Force in a precision strike on Christmas Day. The target was Hussein Mahmoud Marshad al-Jawhari, described as a key operative in Unit 840, the Quds Force's External Operations Division. Lebanon's state news agency confirmed 2 people were killed in an Israeli drone strike targeting a vehicle on a road leading to the Syrian border. Israeli officials say al-Jawhari was involved in directing Iranian terrorist activities against Israel from Syria and Lebanon. Military intelligence estimates this individual was not senior enough to trigger an Iranian military response, so Israel has not raised alert levels. Despite a fragile ceasefire currently in place with Hezbollah, Israel has been conducting strikes in Lebanon on a near-daily basis, saying it's working to prevent Hezbollah from rebuilding. Over the Baltic Sea, Polish fighter jets scrambled on Christmas morning to intercept a Russian military reconnaissance aircraft flying near Polish airspace. The Polish Air Force visually identified and escorted the Russian plane out of their area of responsibility. Poland also reported objects entering its airspace overnight from the direction of Belarus, which after analysis were determined to be smuggling balloons moving with the wind. Part of the airspace over northeast Poland's Podlaskie region was temporarily closed to civilian traffic. NATO's eastern flank countries have been on high alert since September, when Russian military jets violated Estonian airspace for 12 minutes, and more than 20 Russian drones entered Polish airspace. North Korea released new images showing significant progress on its first nuclear-powered submarine. State media published photos of leader Kim Jong-un inspecting a huge burgundy-colored vessel inside an assembly hall. The 8,700-ton submarine appears to have a largely completed hull, suggesting many core components, including possibly the reactor, are already in place. Submarine expert Moon Kyun-sik of Seoul's Hanyang University says North Korea could conduct missile tests with the submarine within 2 years of launching it. Kim also oversaw the test of a new high-altitude long-range anti-air missile, which successfully hit a mock target at 200 kilometers altitude. The submarine program has gained urgency after the Trump administration gave South Korea the green light to pursue its own nuclear-powered submarines, which Kim called an offensive act against North Korea's security. In Brazil, former President Jair Bolsonaro endorsed his son Flavio for the 2026 presidential election while temporarily out of prison for surgery. The 70-year-old ex-president, who is serving a 27-year sentence for plotting a coup after losing the 2022 election, underwent what doctors described as a successful procedure for an inguinal hernia. Bolsonaro has had multiple surgeries related to a 2018 stabbing during his campaign. Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, 44, will try to unseat leftist President Lula da Silva in the October vote. News of the endorsement rattled financial markets, as investors had hoped the elder Bolsonaro would back a more experienced candidate like São Paulo Governor Tarcísio de Freitas. The former president, who is barred from expressing himself online without judicial authorization, delivered his endorsement through a letter read by his son outside a Brasilia hospital. On a brighter note for humanity, researchers at Case Western Reserve University have achieved what the scientific community long thought impossible: full reversal of Alzheimer's disease in animal models. The study, published in Cell Reports Medicine, identified a key biological failure at the center of the disease: the brain's inability to maintain normal levels of a critical cellular energy molecule called NAD+. By restoring NAD+ balance using a pharmacologic agent called P7C3A20, researchers prevented and reversed advanced pathology and cognitive deficits in mice, achieving full neurological recovery. Lead researcher Dr. Andrew Pieper emphasized that current over-the-counter NAD supplements can raise levels to dangerously high amounts that promote cancer. Their approach maintains proper balance without those risks. Quote, "The key takeaway is a message of hope. The effects of Alzheimer's disease may not be inevitably permanent," end quote. Clinical trials in humans are the next step. And finally, on this Christmas day, NORAD celebrated its 70th year of tracking Santa Claus. The tradition began in 1955 when a Sears advertisement accidentally printed the unlisted number for Continental Air Defense Command. When children called asking for Santa, Air Force Colonel Harry Shoup assured them that while he wasn't Santa, his job was to track Santa and make sure he stayed safe. President Trump joined the festivities from Mar-a-Lago, taking calls from children alongside First Lady Melania. When a child from Oklahoma asked why Santa has a tracker, Trump explained, quote, "We want to make sure Santa is being good. We want to make sure he's not infiltrated, that we're not infiltrating into our country a bad Santa," end quote. When another child worried about getting coal, Trump responded with his signature line, quote, "You mean clean, beautiful coal," end quote. This year's operation received support from over 1,000 volunteers answering more than 380,000 calls. New features included web-based calling and translation services supporting over 200 languages. That's our show for this Christmas Day. From billion-dollar miracles to breakthrough Alzheimer's research to a Pope's plea for peace, the world keeps turning even on holidays. I'm Atlas Morgan. Thank you for spending part of your Christmas with Morgan Orbital. Have a wonderful holiday season, stay safe if you're in California, and if you bought a lottery ticket in Arkansas, maybe check those numbers. Good night.